Hi, this is Eric Smith. I know many of you know about the recent events that are going on with Pastor James Coates from Grace Life in Edmonton in Alberta, Canada. Right now he's been imprisoned because he is doing church like pastors are supposed to do, and the bottom line is they put him in jail. In a similar fashion, earlier John MacArthur reopened his church. And many Christians may ask, in the midst of a quote-unquote pandemic or with COVID-19, why would these pastors do this? Why would they reopen their churches? Well, there's a biblical mandate for that, and we're going to see that in this particular verse that I'm going to do a quick look on. It's Hebrews 10:25, and the Word of God reads this way. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. In verses 23 through 25, those verses are actually one statement. In verse 23, it says, hold fast to the profession of our faith. Verse 24 says, let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. And then it ends with this verse I just read, verse 25. And I want to show you four things in this verse. Number one, it says, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together. This is telling us that we shouldn't forsake the assembly or the getting together as Christians for one another. And forsaking is not just avoiding. Like you can't get to church some days because of sickness or because of weather. This word talks about deserting, leaving, not wanting to do it at all. And the assembly is what? It's the called out ones. It's meeting of Christians for worship, for fellowship. So the bottom line, we're supposed to get together in our congregations to do church. We should get together for Bible studies. We should get together for family devotions. We should not forsake the assembly of with one another. The second thing, it says, as the manner of some is. This is saying that there's some in the church that actually want to do this. They want to forsake the assembly of one another. Now, these are either Christians that don't understand that we're the called out ones and we need to do it, or they're actually false converts that are bringing in heresies or heretical thinking as it pertains to getting together at the church. So we have to understand there's going to be people in the church that actually don't want to assemble and want to be a part. That's not right. The third thing says, but exhorting one another. So we have the but. Instead of not doing it, we should what? We should assemble and exhort one another. And exhort means to edify, to urge one another to do right things according to the Word of God. This talks about our worship and our gathering together in churches. We should teach and preach the Word of God. We should be there for one another. We should even correct one another. This is what the church should do. And we should have qualified pastors and elders that teach and preach the Word of God. The last part, it says, as ye see the day approaching. Well, what is the day? That's talking about Christ's return. As we get closer to Christ returning, we should not forsake the assembly with one another. Dear Christian, the reason John MacArthur reopened his church, the reason many pastors are reopening their churches in the midst of COVID, the reason Pastor James Coates will not recant and say, because they'll let him out of jail if he says, I'm not going to have church. The reason these pastors and these churches do these things is because the Bible commands us to do it. Christ is the head of the church, and we are not to forsake the assembly of one another. We're not to do that. We need to be respectful. We need to be always prayerful because we are to obey the government according to Romans 13, 1 through 8. But there's a way and a reason and a how we should obey the government. There's a time where we have to obey God rather than man. And this is one of those times. So this is Hebrews 10:25. Just wanted to do a quick look. I apologize that our birds in the background are making so much noise. But I hope that this will encourage you to know that Christians need to assemble. They need to do church. As always, If the videos on my channel have encouraged your Christian walk, but you have not subscribed to my channel yet and you want to, hit the button. If you want to leave any comments, please do so. But as Christians, please do not be snarky. Please do not be profane. We want to be Christ-like in everything we say and do. And until we do another quick look, don't forsake the assembly with one another. Go to church. Go to Bible study. Have family devotions. Have fellowship with one another. The day is approaching. Christ will return soon. And the church needs to be the church. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And God bless.